Hello and welcome back to the Herbal Podcast, where we discuss all things herbs and horses to help you and your horse live a happy, healthier life naturally. I am Kayla Dendy, your master herbalist, and today I will be discussing black walnut, an herb that is both wonderfully healing and toxic if used incorrectly. As always, please speak with your doctor or veterinarian before utilizing herbs or alternative medicine. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended or designed to be a substitute for qualified medical advice. Welcome back to the Herbal Podcast, where today I'm diving deep into one of the most intriguing and sometimes dangerous trees in North America. Today I'm tackling a crucial question surrounding black walnut, which is, which specific chemical compounds are responsible for the black walnut's wide range of biological effects? It's a fascinating question, because black walnut is truly a chemical powerhouse. It's not just one substance, it's a whole array of constituents that determine whether the tree acts as a potent medicine, a crucial nutrient, or, unfortunately, a dangerous toxin. In today's podcast, I am going to explore these chemicals in depth as I discuss the benefits and cautions associated with this tree. The black walnut tree, known by its botanical name of Juglans nigra, is a truly impressive specimen of the North American landscape. The black walnut is recognized as one of our most valuable hardwoods. It is a large tree, frequently reaching imposing sizes. It may grow up to 120 feet, and sometimes even reaches a height of 150 feet. It is characterized by large, wide-spreading branches. The bark is dark brown, featuring prominent ridges and deep furrows. The leaves and flowers are distinctive features of the black walnut. The leaves are large and compound, resembling those of the butternut. They can range from 6 inches up to 2 feet long. They are divided several times into 12 to 24 leaflets, which are lance-shaped and toothed. The leaflets are typically smooth, shining, and paler underneath, and they vary in size, generally being 2.14 to 4 inches in length and 1 to 1 and 1/2 inch wide. The leaves possess a very strong, characteristic smell that is described as aromatic and not unpleasant. The flowers appear simultaneously with the leaves, and they also resemble the butternut's flowers. They generally begin to open around the middle of April and are in full bloom by the middle of May. Perhaps the most recognized features are the fruit and the valuable kernel within. The fruit appears as a yellowish-green orb, nearly round and roughly dotted. It measures between 1.5 inches to nearly 3 inches in diameter and has a fleshy outer husk. The husk has an aromatic odor. The fleshy outer husks later dry into very hard, dark brown nuts. The stain produced by the green husk is brown, resulting from its high organic iodine content. The nut inside is dark, rough, and hard, measuring 1 inch to nearly 2 inches in diameter. Inside the nut is the sweet, edible kernel, which is 4-celled. This kernel has a pleasant but strong taste and is quite oily. The black walnut is considered one of our most important native trees. It ranges from Massachusetts to Minnesota and Nebraska, extending south to Florida and Texas. It is common throughout North America. It is sporadically distributed throughout states like Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. It has also been introduced as an ornamental tree in most other regions of the United States and southern Canada. Originally a forest tree, it was common on rich bottomlands and hillsides. It is often found growing along fences where nuts were buried by animals. Traditionally and currently, the bark, leaves, and nuts were used to create green and black dyes. The parts used medicinally typically include the leaves, inner bark, nut, and the green or dry husks, with the green husk often cited as the most potent. Now let's turn our discussion to the long and storied history of the black walnut. This isn't just a tree valued for lumber and nuts. It has been a cornerstone of traditional medicine and daily life across continents for millennia. The history of this remarkable tree spans from ancient Rome to indigenous North America. The history of the walnut tree is deeply rooted in antiquity, and its name reflects its high value. The Romans referred to the tree as nux due to its fruit. The genus name Juglans is derived from Jovis glans, meaning Jupiter's nuts. This name arose from the saying that in the Golden Age, when men lived upon acorns, the gods lived upon walnuts. According to Pliny, the walnut was introduced into Italy from Persia. It was mentioned as growing in Italy during the lifetime of Varro, who was born in 116 BC. While the exact timing of its arrival in England is uncertain, Gerard, writing around the late 16th century, mentioned the walnut as being very common in orchards and fields near common highways. Starting in the 17th century, black walnut was used externally in Russia for cleansing and quick healing of wounds. For many centuries in Europe, it was used as a laxative and for various skin ailments, especially eczema and herpes. The black walnut was extensively used by Native Americans. Indigenous communities utilized nearly every part of the plant for food, medicine, and practical applications. American Indians made great use of the black walnut, especially as a source of food. Native American tribes used the bark and leaves for all kinds of skin diseases, including ringworm. They also used it as a remedy for worms, as an emetic, a cathartic, and for dysentery. The bark, leaves, and nuts were used to create green and black dyes. Additionally, the leaves were scattered in dwellings to help prevent fleas. Black walnut was historically viewed as a powerful remedy for topical issues. The bark and leaves were used in the treatment of skin troubles, valued for curing scrofulous diseases, herpes, and eczema. The juice of the fruit was used by eclectics for conditions like ringworm, herpes, and eczema. It was considered nearly a miracle worker for various skin disorders, including impetigo, acne, dandruff, boils, itch, shingles, and ringworm. The tincture of the nuts was an excellent first aid remedy for wounds. Strong decoctions of walnut leaves saturated with sugar were used to cure obstinate ulcers. Its properties as an astringent and laxative made it key for regulating the digestive system. The bark and leaves have laxative properties. The whole herb is considered a mild but certain laxative. Because the leaves and bark are astringent, they were used in cases of diarrhea or profuse menstruation, taken as a tea or a douche. The bark was traditionally used as an astringent for gastrointestinal inflammation and ulcers. The inner bark or leaves simmered in honey were an excellent remedy for colic. The oil extracted from ripe kernels was also used for colic, taken inwardly in half-ounce doses. The tincture of the nuts was reputed to be antispasmodic and used to check the vomiting of morning sickness in pregnancy in India and other areas. Black walnut has been highly thought of as a dependable remedy for bad blood diseases, such as scrofulous, syphilis, and diphtheria. Black walnut is well known as a vermifuge, an anti-parasitic remedy. It was used to expel all kinds of worms from the intestinal tract. The unripe nut was said to have worm-destroying virtues. The hulls were traditionally used as a nutritional aid for the intestinal system. It was also used for gastrointestinal helminths and has been shown to be specific for the treatment of Candida albicans. Various preparations were used for ailments of the mouth and throat. The infusion was gargled for sore throat, hoarseness, relaxed uvula, and similar ailments. The vinegar from the pickle of young, unripe fruit was a capital gargle for sore or slightly ulcerated throats. The juice of the green husks boiled from honey was also a good gargle for a sore mouth and inflamed throat. To prevent failing hair and give hair a beautiful luster, the tea was rubbed into the scalp daily. A strong infusion created from macerated leaves and inner bark in hot water for 1 hour was used because it powerfully induces sweating and thus reduces fever. It has been used to remedy poisonous snake bites, other poisonous bites, and mad dog bites. The residue of the oil is a favored tonic for cattle and horses. Arabs used it as a supreme food for fertility in female animals. Beyond medicine, the black walnut was valued for its nuts and its utility. The sweet edible kernel was favored in sweets, ice cream, and cakes. The oil from the walnuts was edible, used for frying, eaten as butter, and used as lamp oil in some areas. There is a dye in the whole tree, most concentrated in the hulls. It dyes fibers a rich tan or dark brown. The tannin content in the hulls acts as the chemical necessary to set the dyes permanently. The hulls have been used for tanning leather. The wood has historically been used for furniture, wainscoting, gun stocks, and coach bodies. It is well known for its beauty and is considered one of our most valuable hardwoods. When discussing black walnut, the first compound that always comes up is juglone. Juglone is perhaps the most famous or infamous constituent of the black walnut tree. It's an organic compound found across various parts of the Juglans genus, including the roots, hulls, and fresh leaves of the black walnut. You'll also find traces of juglone in the whole walnut tree, the nuts, the leaves, bark, and wood. Historically, juglone was presumed to be the main toxic agent responsible for the severe condition known as laminitis. In simple terms, laminitis is a painful inflammatory condition affecting the equine hoof, often triggered by exposure to black walnut shavings or sawdust. However, research has introduced a significant nuance here. While juglone is present and can cause poisoning, experimental models have shown that topical application of juglone to horses' feet only resulted in skin irritation, not consistent laminitis. Oral administration of large amounts did induce mild laminitis in some ponies. This led researchers to suggest that juglone may not be the primary trigger for laminitis in all cases of exposure. Researchers now widely believe that a different, unidentified component in the black walnut heartwood is actually the culprit that reliably induces laminitis. An aqueous, water-based extract from this inner wood reliably causes the condition in experimental models, and increased vasoconstriction when tested on equine arteries and veins. So, while juglone is associated with toxicity and is listed as a major chemical component, the specific compound causing acute laminitis in horses is still heavily debated, with strong evidence pointing toward an extractable component in the heartwood. On the flip side, many compounds in black walnut offer significant medicinal and nutritional benefits. The black walnut tree has the remarkable ability to gather and transform minerals, a process known as biological transmutation. The tree can contain traces of iodine. The iodine found in black walnut is described as organic iodine, which is noted to be much more antiseptic and healing than the usual iodine used for infections and cuts. The high organic iodine content is specifically found in the green husk, which contributes to its antiseptic properties, usefulness in healing, and the characteristic brown stain it produces. The black walnut contains tannins. Tannins play several roles. The bark and leaves contain tannins, contributing to their traditional use as astringent, which constrict and firm flabby or atonic tissues. This makes them useful for issues like diarrhea or profuse menstruation. The tannins, along with other compounds in the hulls and kernels, have been shown to have antibacterial properties, specifically against bacteria such as S. aureus, Listeria, and E. coli. Tannins are the chemical component in the hulls responsible for setting dyes permanently, often used for tanning leather and dyeing natural fibers. It's worth noting that while beneficial in small amounts, high concentrations of tannins in the bark, leaves, stems, and hulls may lead to adverse effects like vomiting, diarrhea, and gastritis in dogs and cats if ingested excessively. Nutritionally, the kernels are rich in beneficial plant-based compounds known as phytochemicals. Specific phytochemicals, including polyphenols and tocopherols, give the kernels antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Even juglone has been associated with potential health benefits. Test tube studies indicate that juglone can inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells, suggesting an anti-cancer potential. The kernel yields an oil, which is comprised of unsaturated fatty acids. Similar to English walnuts, these fatty acids, combined with the tree's antioxidants, suggest a potential role in reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. The black walnut is rich in various essential minerals that support different biological functions. The nut meats are rich in manganese, which is important for nerves, brain, and cartilage. The overall composition includes calcium, iron, potassium, manganese, phosphorus, copper, sodium, chlorine, and sulfur. Other compounds cited for their biological effects include essential oils, oxalic acids and gallic acid, and alkaloid ingredients, which, similar to tannins, can cause digestive distress in dogs and cats if ingested in excessive quantities. I must also mention a compound that is not naturally part of the black walnut tree structure, but is crucially tied to toxicity. Penetrum A. Penetrum A is a potent, tremorgenic neurotoxic mycotoxin. It is produced by fungi, mold, that attack moldy walnut hulls and nuts. Ingesting moldy hulls containing penetrum A can cause serious acute illness. This mycotoxin affects the central nervous system, leading to neurological disorders, trembling, and potential brain damage in various species, including horses, cows, sheep, and dogs. So, to sum up, the black walnut's biological activity spans a remarkable spectrum, driven by a complex profile of chemicals. We have juglone and the unidentified heartwood component driving acute toxicity in horses. Tannins acting as antibacterial agents and astringents. Organic iodine offering antiseptic healing properties. And vital nutrients like unsaturated fatty acids and phytochemicals supporting overall health. And, critically, the dangerous secondary toxin penetrum A lurking in moldy husks. What is the current medicinal use of black walnut? While the historical uses were vast, covering everything from scrofula to mad dog bites, modern medicinal and clinical uses, especially in veterinary and nutritional science, focus on a few key, verifiable actions and potential health benefits. The current medicinal and indicated uses of black walnut can be broken down into three main categories: anti-parasitic and digestive support, topical applications, and emerging clinical potential. Black walnut remains highly valued today for its powerful affinity for the digestive tract. This is perhaps its most famous ongoing medicinal use. The extract of the green, unripe hull is considered undoubtedly one of the best and safest worming agents offered by the plant world. It is used to aid in expelling tapeworms, pinworms, and ringworms from the intestinal tract. It is generally known as a vermifuge, an anti-parasite remedy, used to expel all kinds of worms. It is potentially useful for treating gastrointestinal parasites. In addition to being a vermifuge, black walnut has been shown to be a specific treatment of Candida albicans, a fungus that causes yeast infections. The whole herb is known as a mild but sure laxative, properly utilized historically in Europe and by American Indian tribes. It is also an effective remedy for diarrhea. In cases of constipation or diarrhea, black walnut is very useful. The husks have been traditionally used by herbalists as a nutritional aid for the intestinal system. Its properties are useful in all sorts of cleansing programs, especially for expelling parasite. The high content of compounds like tannins and organic iodine lend black walnut strong external applications. The green husk contains a high content of organic iodine, which makes it antiseptic and useful in healing and cleansing programs. Since the 17th century, black walnut has been used externally for the cleansing and quick healing of wounds in Russia. The strong affinities of the plant are noted for the skin. It is used topically for skin ailments and has been traditionally applied for a wide range of skin disorders, including ringworm, eczema, impetigo, acne, dandruff, boils, itch, and shingles. Modern investigations, often focusing on the kernels and specific chemical compounds like juglone, point toward emerging health benefits. The kernels are rich in beneficial phytochemicals, including polyphenols and tocopherols, which give the black walnut antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Due to the presence of unsaturated fatty acids and antioxidants, black walnut may have a role in reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Furthermore, the oil may be a useful dietary adjunct in the treatment of patients with hyperlipidemia or hypertriglyceridemia. Test tube studies indicate that the compound juglone can inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells, suggesting an anti-cancer potential. What compound causes horse poisoning? This is a crucial question, because when we talk about black walnut poisoning in horses, we are actually dealing with a complicated chemical story involving not one, but three distinct types of compounds. While one toxin has been historically blamed, researchers now point to two different agents depending on the type of exposure. Let's break down the specific chemical compounds responsible for acute horse poisoning. Historically, the most commonly cited toxic compound responsible for poisoning horses is juglone. Juglone is an organic compound found in the leaves, bark, and wood of the black walnut tree, as well as the roots, hulls, and fresh leaves of juglans trees. Juglone was presumed to be the toxic agent responsible for triggering laminitis, the severe and painful condition affecting the horse's hooves. However, contemporary research suggests that juglone is not the reliably primary culprit for laminitis triggered by skin contact when standing on shavings. In experimental studies, topical application of juglone to horses' feet only resulted in skin irritation, not consistent laminitis. While oral administration of large doses of juglone did cause mild laminitis in some ponies, the inconsistent results led researchers to seek a different agent. Current research suggests that the acute laminitis caused by exposure to black walnut shavings or sawdust is triggered by a different, unidentified component found in the wood. Researchers now believe laminitis is induced by a component present in the black walnut heartwood, the dead inner wood. A water-based extract from this heartwood reliably causes laminitis in experimental models and increased vasoconstriction when tested directly on isolated equine arteries and veins. This heartwood extract has also been shown to cause laminar inflammation. Horses are particularly at risk from exposure to the hardwood shavings sold as animal bedding. Simply standing on the contaminated bedding can trigger a toxic reaction, as the toxin is believed to be absorbed through the skin around the coronary band. A third highly dangerous compound is responsible for a different type of poisoning in horses, the neurotoxic effects resulting from ingesting moldy material. This toxin is a potent, tremorgenic, neurotoxic mycotoxin known as penetrem A. It is produced by fungi that attack moldy walnut hulls and nuts. Ingestion of moldy hulls containing penetrem A can cause serious acute illness. It affects the central nervous system, leading to neurological disorders, trembling, hyperexcitability, and potential brain damage in various species, including horses, cows, sheep, and dogs. Horses that consume mycotoxins from mold in walnut hulls could also be at risk of developing liver disease. In summary, while juglone is the historically known toxin, acute laminitis from shavings is more reliably caused by an unidentified heartwood component. Meanwhile, ingestion of moldy hulls causes severe neurological issues due to penetrum A. What does the research say about black walnut? Well, when we talk about black walnut today, we aren't just relying on centuries of fold tradition. We are looking at scientific investigations that confirm some uses, caution against others, and explore new potential benefits. The research on black walnut primarily falls into three major areas: its dangerous toxicology, its emerging clinical and nutritional potential, and the validation or rejection of traditional medicinal actions. Let's explore the current state of research on this complex tree. The most critical area of research centers on the toxicology of black walnut, particularly concerning horses, where exposure can be fatal. The research regarding juglone and the studies that showed juglone was not the culprit causing laminitis was previously discussed. Studies have confirmed that in dogs, juglone may act as a depressant and cause severe pulmonary interstitial and alveolar edema. Additionally, excessive ingestion of bark, leaves, stems, and hulls containing strong tannins and various alkaloid ingredients may lead to vomiting, diarrhea, and gastritis in dogs and cats. On the beneficial side, research has focused on analyzing the chemical composition of potential health promotion. Black walnut kernels have been shown to be a rich source of phytochemicals, which research has linked to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Similar to English walnuts, black walnuts contain unsaturated fatty acids and antioxidants, suggesting a potential role in reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Interestingly, the same compound known for toxicity, juglone, has been shown in test tube studies to inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells, suggesting an anti-cancer potential. Black walnuts are recognized as a significant source of beneficial nutrients, including unsaturated fatty acids, fiber, folate, melatonin, and proteins. The nut meats are also rich in manganese, a mineral important for the nerves, brain, and cartilage. Despite the rich nutritional profile, there is a lack of sufficient research on the specific effects of these phytochemicals and the health benefits derived specifically from consuming black walnuts. Modern research and observation currently validate some traditional uses while explicitly cautioning against others. The extract of the green, unripe hull is considered undoubtedly one of the best and safest worming agents offered by the plant world for symptomatic worm intervention. The presence of organic iodine makes the green husk antiseptic and useful in healing wounds. Infusions or decoctions of the leaves, hulls, and bark may be used topically for parasitic skin infections like ringworm. It is also indicated topically in veterinary medicine for focal inflammations and hot spots. The current use of black walnut hull for the prevention and treatment of canine heartworm is specially notes as having no traditional or scientific basis. So, research places black walnut firmly in the realms of toxicology, where the heartwood component is the current laminitis villain, and emerging nutritional science, where its high phytochemical content offers promise for cardiovascular and cancer research. But as always, heed the caution that powerful chemical agents require precise application and dosage. Cautions. A crucial line of inquiry about black walnut is a discussion about contraindications to its use. When discussing any potent herb like black walnut, understanding its limitations and dangers is just as important as knowing its historical benefits. While black walnut is a powerful medicine, if used improperly, it can be toxic. Black walnut is highly toxic to horses, primarily through dermal exposure to wood shavings. This toxicity is the most significant adverse effect noted concerning the use of black walnut. Symptoms of this toxicity in horses can occur within hours and include lameness, swelling of the lower limbs, a stiff gait, colic, depression, and increased heart and respiratory rates. If your horse is standing on black walnut shavings, immediately remove them from the shavings and contact your veterinarian. Due to its potent nature, it can kill parasites. Black walnut is an herb that should be used with caution, as anything that can kill a tapeworm has the potential of being harmful to the host animal. It is suggested that black walnut is an herb best reserved for use by experienced practitioners. In summary, while no blanket contraindications are formalized, its use in horses is strictly contraindicated due to the risk of laminitis, and caution must be exercised with dogs, cats, pregnant animals, and when using material where mold is present. If there is mold on any part of the black walnut, do not use it. Thank you for joining me for the discussion on black walnut. Next week I will discuss blessed thistle. I hope you take time to tune in next week for that discussion. As always, this podcast is for educational purposes only. The information contained in this podcast is not intended or designed to treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease. This podcast is not designed as a substitute for advice from your medical provider, veterinarian, or other qualified healthcare professional.